about us being design thinkers. So design thinkers, you find that they are very agile. You find that each and every moment, keep on learning, keep on adjusting, make sure that everything works for us, everything works for our own good. So the same also applies even in this journey that we've started. So we should also be design thinkers. Let us not wait until maybe it's too late before we can maybe address a challenge or an issue that is pressing. So let me open up the floor to you so that you can just be free to tell us anything that you feel that's there in your mind. Everything is okay, is acceptable. Vanis, please, would you maybe, okay, Penina, go ahead, please.
Yes, Charles.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for yesterday's work. And I think I got something like it is more of in short, it's like profiling the company in a way, because when you
Yeah.
conceptualize an idea, bring it into a product aspect, develop it, lay the marketing strategy, have the business analysis, technical development, all that, and plus, I mean, towards the commercialization, seemed to me like more of the company profile, like you're really putting yourself ready in a strategic position for the client to also identify you and to know who you are all about and what it's all about. So I was looking, like I asked the same question instead, but now today I'm asking it more directly. So it means
Yeah.
these what do you call them? This mentor who is coming to work with us will be having
Yes.
that ability and the capacity to also help us rearrange ourselves and reprofile ourselves ready for the market.
Yes. I think that's a good question because it's also good to be curious about what's going to happen next.
Mhm.
You find that usually in mentorship, we normally do what we call mentorship matching.
Mhm.
And the mentors actually match with the mentees, so based on the needs that have been identified. So I think the process that we're going through right now is just to help us to, first of all, to start reflecting about our businesses. Maybe you'll be able to identify the areas that you feel you need
Mhm.
support. And then
Mhm.
based on that, of course, once we profile your areas of support, then we shall get the right expert who can be able to address them specifically for you. So like if, for example, like your industry, um, maybe it's
Actually,
training
my main interest is on profiling of my business because
business.
I'm helter skelter. I'm all over. Like I told you
Okay, okay.
before, I started with the school. I started as a trainer of schools.
Uh-huh.
So I'm now
Okay.
graduating to the corporate world. I have all the
Uh-huh.
licenses that are needed, but what I
Uh-huh.
don't have is bringing myself together to the
Uh-huh.
business world. You see, the school world
Okay.
is really minute because you just wake
Yeah.
up, you are on stage, and these are things I've done. When you do something for over 10 years,
10
it's no
years,
longer
yeah.
a big deal. It's just waking up, going to the stage. In fact,
And
my clients just know that once it's so and so, we are
um,
done and we're okay. And it's been the same customers. So you see now, going
yeah,
to a new
it's a
field,
routine. Yeah.
it's been a routine that is not been so satisfying. It's been good, yes,
Sure, sure.
financially, but now the
Mm,
more I listen to you, the more I'm
mm,
now having a big desire and really feeling fulfilled towards where I'm going to. But I'm so scared
mm.
at the same time. I'm like, okay, will I be productive enough? Do I have what it takes to move to the next level? So whenever I hear about, in fact, for the last 2 to 3 months, I've been like
Yeah.
really looking for organizations that are really working towards shaping and reshaping business.
Okay, okay.
Mm,
Yeah.
so, mm,
I think that's good because you have got that need, of course, that you already identified that you really need to do it. So it will even make your work easier because they say that knowing your problem is half problem solved. You
mm,
know. So and that's why I think it's important even for all of us who are here that we are the people on the ground. We are the people who understand exactly what we are going through, and not even experts. So once you're able to write that down or identify areas that you feel that you need support, then it becomes even much easier to use now a forum like this one to be able to get that support. So I think all the issues that all the pains that you're going through, it's now to think in terms of design thinking. of course, we'll really be put down, and then we'll be able to see how we might able to support you. How might we? Remember that talking about the design thinking. So basically, that's how we're going to work around it. And I believe there's always a solution for every challenge
Mm,
that is there. So
mm,
I'm sure through the process you'll be able to get the right mentor for you, who'll be able to
mm,
walk you through the journey. Of
mm,
course, I'll try to get people who have been who have been in the industry, who have been
mm,
successful, and of course, they'll be
mm,
able to give you some more insights. And then the other thing about it again, remember, we're living in a
mm.
very dynamic world. So as somebody who was successful 10 years ago may not be successful
Mm.
today
I
unless that
know.
person is agile, yeah? And is dynamic, is able to adapt to the changes, the way you have said it. So I think it's a very, very dynamic and very competitive world that we are living in today. We are talking
Mm,
about a digital economy. Of
mm,
course, now, even for you now, again, you have to change your delivery strategies to be
mm,
more maybe avoid maybe try to move away from the physical or in-person strategies
mm,
into more hybrid approaches and all that. So I think that's how we need to look at it. Yeah, it's
mm,
good to start thinking in terms of that. Of course, so it also helps you to start planning and also maybe setting up funds or maybe raising funds,
mm,
maybe to expand your business. Yeah, I
mhm.
think that's okay. That's it's good to share with us that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anybody else who want to maybe give us a comment? Bernice, do you have anything to share with us today?
Yes, good morning.
Morning to you, Bernice.
Yeah, I think so far, so good. I'm getting more clarity on what to expect within the program,
Mm-hmm.
and also I'm beginning to, I can say, to shape my business.
Good.
I've had a challenge too in terms of really narrowing down to one product.
Mm-hmm.
Or like it's like I had a lot of ideas. I'm working in waste management, and there are a lot of opportunities for innovation. It's a growing field. So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I find that I see opportunities everywhere. So and really making a decision around it is had been a challenge a little bit on what I should specialize on. But I
Mm-hmm.
think within this program, I'm beginning to narrow down on some of the issues that I'm seeing that it has a higher breakthrough in
Mm-hmm.
terms of where to go.
Okay.
So
Good.
I feel like I'll get somewhere at the end of this. I'm glad that we are going to have maybe I can say individualized mentorship teams, so
Mhm.
that we'll be able to narrow down to this.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I think that's good. I think again having many ideas, I think is good as an entrepreneur. Of course, you can be a serial entrepreneur. It all depends on how you come up with teams, because you can actually invest in different lines of opportunities in the same maybe sector or different sectors. Because the limit for an entrepreneur is just to ensure that at least you are able to meet the need of a client. So it's good to focus based on the available resources that we have currently, but at the same time, we can also grow. So we can grow by diversifying maybe our product lines again, so that we have a good market share, so that again we become more financially stable as we pursue our entrepreneurial activities. So I think all strategies they all work depending on how it only depends on how we capture each and every opportunity, depending on the time and the situation in which we are. So I think I believe maybe even during this training, we shall be able to look at different, maybe share different strategies, as you also share with us what you are really anticipating to do. Of course, I think also through this forum that we have here, of course, by also sharing our own experiences, you'll also be able to get some more insights and maybe learn on how you can be able to go around it. Yes, I think that's good, Penina. So I think for the rest of us, Juliet, maybe we'll give you an opportunity to say something, even as we proceed, or you're ready to say now, Juliet? Hi, Juliet. I saw as if you had unmuted yourself. Okay, fine. We also have who else? Yeah, so I think we can proceed. So that's good. So I think today we're mainly going to focus on lean startup methodology of product commercialization. Of course, remember our theme for this week has been developing a market fit, optimizing our products to the markets. And that's really the starting point, because before you even start a business, you must always have a product in mind. Okay. And the product will help you, first of all, to understand who your clients are, because you can't have a product which does not have a client. So you see, you have to reverse work backwards. So we start with the product, of course, in mind, just to help us to know our personal strengths or areas of specialization. But that does not really say that that's how we approach it. It's just to help us to maybe assemble ourselves and then to look at our own personal competence. But then now, when it comes now developing a business, we have to first of all to go back to the clients, identify who are our clients. Okay, once we get their clients that we're looking at, we look at try to understand their situation and see if there's any business opportunities that we can be able to 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 take it, and then based on that, of course, we can now use that as a springboard to generate ideas, which we can then translate it into a business. So that's basically what you'll be doing through our previous sessions. So today we're still going to go further onto our approach and seeing how we can be able to use the same thinking approach to come up with a business. Okay. So now, because so far we have seen how we can be able to generate ideas. We have seen how to develop a product, okay, using the design thinking approach. And now today we are going to go a bit deeper and then see how we can be able to make this product, or transform this product or these ideas into some form of products that we can be able to sell to our clients. So today, therefore, we are mainly going to discuss about lean startup. So it will be important for us to understand what is lean, and then understand how we can be able to start small. That is by first of all identifying our customers, who are our customers, what are their needs, and then try to develop a product, okay, and then try to that really meets their needs, and then try to introduce it to the market. Okay, we'll also be looking at different ways of which you can be able to introduce this product to the market. So the issue or the biggest challenge that that we have is how do we start, and whether this can really fit into our own businesses. So remember, as design thinkers, we should be open up our minds, be free, allow ourselves to become vulnerable. Okay, to challenge ourselves to see exactly. Of course, we are at different stages. Some of us already in business. Some of us are still starting. But it's important for us to keep on reflecting about our businesses, reflect about our practices, how we are doing the business, how we started. And of course, even for those who are already in the business, we know that it has not been a smooth path. Of course, we are having so much turbulence right now. So maybe it's the right time for you to say, okay, let's stop. And then you refresh everything. You try to look at how best you can be able to readjust your business. So in this case, therefore, we are going to integrate design thinking approach in the service delivery. Of course, how you actually intend to deliver your product to the client. Of course, in terms of organization itself, you need to organize yourself, maybe as a team, maybe have a sales team, have a product development team, and all that, so that everything works for good. And then how you're going to capture your clients' needs, and of course, using human-centered design approach, so that you can be able to come up with the products and experience that really satisfies their needs. And of course, finally, how to start small. Lean means you start small, okay, by simply addressing to the pertinent needs that these guys or these clients requires, without really investing a lot of money. Okay, yeah, because we know that of course capital is also a challenge to most of us, and of course if you wait for if you wait for that moment where you're going to get maybe a certain amount of capital, it might never work. So the most important thing is, how can you start small and then grow big? So basically, that's what we mean by lean starting. So you find that with design thinking approach, you find that you have to try to integrate all these aspects of starting a business, so that it all works for our own convenience. So I remember still having this diagram that keeps on reminding us how we need to start our business. Of course, funding is very, very important. Is what we call investor readiness and how to get money. Of course, that's another aspect. And you find that for all of us, we have used different ways of raising money. You can take a bank loan, or you can still do a saving and whatever you want to do. But at some point, you need to boost your business, so you can seek for angel investors who can come and or venture capitalists who can come and invest into your business and then help your business to grow. That's from a financial perspective. But now when it comes to a product down there, you find that we need to start small. That's where we are. So we have talked about how to generate ideas using scientific approach, how to come up with a product, or a human-centered design product, how to develop a product. And then now, today, we want to see how we can be able to take off. Okay. So the issue here is that you're a startup, you have got a product, you have identified a market. Okay. You are very sure that this thing is going to sell. Okay. So how do you introduce this product into the market? Or how do you make money from this specific product? So that means it requires you to sit down, okay, as an entrepreneur, or or a startup, or as an innovator, and then start thinking through, okay, your scenario. Think through your product, think through your market, okay, and then try to think, how do you start this business? And of course, you can only do that if you really understand the concepts around your idea, okay? So all of us are here, but you find that we are trying to come up with different solutions, okay, in different sectors. We have got training solutions, we've got a mentoring solution, we have a food solution, okay? Chego, we are really missing the Chego. See Chego, she's not here, but she has a Grusik product. We have got C beauty products. So you find that all these are products, okay? So you find that each and every product has got its own discipline or its own way of reaching to the client. So before you start even embarking on commercialization of the product, you must also take that into consideration. Try to understand how the product can be monetized, okay? How you can be able to get money from the product. So you need to understand the commercialization. So you find that there are actually like 3 ways in which commercialization can actually be done. Of course, we have got those products like crafts products, for example, that you just use them from your own creativity. You create something, and then now the only thing that you require is to take it to the market. Okay, so in that case, you just need to think about how do you get money to drop to to procure the required materials. How do you package the products? How do you take to the so, and then that it's as simple as that. You as a startup, you can be able to start a business that way. Then we have got other ideas which come as a sort of maybe innovation, okay, whereby you either come up with an idea or some content that you'll want to capitalize on them to make some money from it. So in that case, we find that in such a case, you must, before even you go to the market, you must come up with a protection strategy, okay, or how you want to make so that you can use that protection as a way of making money as you take your product to the market. So in that case, we have got IPs, intellectual property rights, and like patenting, and we have got copyright. So those are the two main IP approaches that you can actually use to make money for your product. So even before you start going out, because you find that in this case, your trade, your secret trade is basically your creative work. In that case, you must first of all protect your work, okay, before you can take it to the market. So those are some, you need to think about that even before you go to the market. And then we have got other forms of products or concepts that maybe you will want to use other channels, maybe like forming partnership with other value chains, and then be able to actually capitalize on them to be able to get the money. So those are actually the three possible pathways that you can actually use to create value for your product and then reach out to the market. So those are you as a startup or as an SME, as an innovator, you need to sit down and then think about the three. Yeah. So I'm sure maybe all of you have had a chance to think about this. Um, so like for instance, Penina, for your case, okay, you want to get into the training.
Yes.
So yeah, so you can think about how maybe, of course, your case gives us an illustration of how you can be able to use the three ways, because uh, uh, we have been working with learning institutions. Of course, you need to think about partnerships and promotion. So that's one way you've been doing it. And then have you ever thought about a case whereby you want to come up with something that you really want to protect it, have some intellectual property right about it, use it for money?
Sorry?
Have you ever had an idea about or coming up with the idea of a product that you think you can be able to exploit intellectual property rights?
In the direction of?
In your business that you're doing,
Yes.
have you ever had an idea that requires you to exploit intellectual property rights?
Not really come up. Maybe it's there, but I'm not aware.
Okay.
Mm,
Yeah.
maybe that's fine.
Okay.
Like I told you,
Yeah,
I've
we
been
find
working
that.
like a freelancer under somebody. So
uh,
yeah. And I didn't know that trainer of trainers or training would need those copyrights or something. I didn't have any idea. Maybe unless I learned from you.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. It all depends on what you come up with. Because, if, for example, if you come up with something like a book, for instance, if you publish a book, of course, it will have some copyrights. Is that right? And then you can
I
be able
didn't.
to make money from it. Yeah. So that's how you need to think about it. So you can think in terms of maybe come up with the books and then sell the content, or you can have maybe things like videos. Okay.
Yeah, I already have a
Okay.
book
Content
on
videos.
I already have a book on defining my destiny. That's what I use as a workbook with my clients. In the
Uh-huh.
process of
Okay.
speaking to them, they normally have a mental health world book that they use for reflections. So you're right. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Mm.
Yeah, sure. So you find that some of these things at times they don't appear to be straightforward, but actually we are doing them. So that's why I'm saying that when it comes to pathways to commercialization, you need to think through it. Now, like your workbook, of course, you can protect it because it's your tool of trade, so that you can be able to make money out of it. Yeah, so that's how we can look at it. So when it comes to IP, we have got copyright. Of course, for you, it can work well. For those of us, again, who are in software development, I think copyright can also be one way of trying to protect your work, your creative work, so that you can be able to make money out of it. And then for those who are still in colleges and private institutions, I think if you can come up with a formula and you really want to make money out of that, then you can patent your 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 research work, and then you can actually use it then to come up as a way of trying to make money for your innovation. So you find that there's a room for all of us to do that. So I think if you go through Kirby and the Kipe, so you find that they actually provide all those services. And if you have such a product, then you can always refer to them so that they can advise you on how you can be able to commercialize your product. So once you have made that that, uh, that background, then you can actually now think of how to start your business. So you find that today things have really changed. Of course, we are living in a very agile community. I liked even some of the stories that we got from most of you. Like some of you are still working from home, be able to start a business or an industry even from home. So you find that in that case, it's just because of the availability of technology that we have. You find that you don't need to come up with a plan before you can start a business. So the issue is about exploiting the knowledge base and then being able to come up with a solution. So with these ideas, you find that it has actually transformed the way people are starting business today. And of course, today the most appropriate method is what's called the lean startup methodology. Okay, whereby start you start producing a product using a very minimal resources that's available to you, and then you continue putting into a spiral loop so that you grow with the product, okay, as you start your business. And of course, in that case, you're able to understand your context in which you are working, as well as be able to actually define your product until it fits to the clients that you're really trying to target for your business. So just as I said, that a lean organization is basically a very small institutional setup, which it can be at individual level, or it can be at 2 people or 3 people who try to come up with a way of developing a product or a solution, and then try to take it to the market without really investing a lot of resources into it. So you are simply trying to create more value for customers with fewer resources. So that's how we can look at it. And in fact, this approach is different from the traditional approaches. So for some of us who are old, of course, we were born in 20th century. I don't think there's anybody who was born in 20th century today. But of course, if you look at most industries like Chris Kirubi and the like, okay, they're also still 21st century. But if you look at their way of setting up an industry, was that first of all, they have a vision, then they build an entire product, and then they start looking for customers. Because that's how the industry used to work. But then in the 21st century, of course, there was an improvement on how to come up with their products. So you find that you start up with an industry or a factory, and then you build some products, and then you try to test this product with the clients as you continue improving them. But now today we are talking about design thinking, whereby we start by customers' needs. We don't talk about the founder's vision, but in this case, now everything's reversed. So we start with the needs, and then you build a minimum viable product. And then as we try to improve on the product, then we introduce it to the market, and then we can start making money out of it. So it's the lean startup methodology. What we do is that we have an idea, and then from this idea, we try to develop what we call a minimum viable product. And then we try to put it in the market, and then we test it with the clients. So if they accept it, well and good. If they have got challenges, we're able to capture those challenges, fix them, and then redesign it again, and then try to introduce it to the client. So in this case, therefore, we find that this approach enables us to understand the customer's problems, and of course, we're able to refine a minimum viable product, launch it, build it, measure, learn, and iterate, and then we continue doing like that. So it's more of a spiral approach. And remember, we're talking about the China case. We find that basically is how what works in China. So we find that China, they go with what you want. Okay, the minimum viable product. What is that you want? Okay, yeah, without having that extra requirements. The same thing we can also look at it maybe in the motor industry. Remember, we have got other big companies like Mercedes-Benz. I think some time back in the years 1990 there, or 1990, the year 2000, their concept of building a car was coming up with a car that can last even for 100 years. So you find that those cars were over-engineered. And whenever you wanted to buy a car, of course, you had to pay that cost of buying an over-engineered car. Okay. So you find that in that case, those cars, of course, they are not selling. They were there, but they were very few because they were over-engineered. They were only for the rich. Yet you find that when somebody buys a car, he only buys a car that can take him from point A to point B. And then if you try to study the patterns of how these cars were being used, you find that if you got most of these homesteads of people who used to have money, you find that they either bought the Range Rovers or the Land Rovers or the Mercedes-Benz. But if you go up today, you find that those cars are still in the store. So you find that in that case, there was a mismatch between what these clients wanted and what the manufacturers were producing. Okay, manufacturers were producing a car that can last 100 years, while the clients wanted a car that moves from point A to B. So you find that there was a mismatch, and because of that, of course, it really affected their business. While on the other hand, the Japanese on the other side, they were coming up with minimum viable products. That is a car that can be used, that can easily enable somebody to move from point A to point B. And you can actually see today, if you see like in the transport sector, you will agree with me. You have seen this Wasili and all these cars. You find that even the big companies, Ford, they are now producing those small cars because that's where that's the thing that people want. People only want to move from point A to B, and not a car that can last for maybe 50 years or 30 years or 100 years. So basically, that's how we need to look at it. So the same way as we embark on our journey as entrepreneurs, we also need to rethink about our products, okay? To ensure that our products they really fit to the needs of our clients. So how do we do that? So we find that in that case, we can only achieve that if we ensure that our business concepts or business designs have got the three fits. So one, we must have a problem solution fit. We need to identify the real problems that our clients are really facing so that we can be able to gain insights on what we need to work on, okay? So we must work with the real client, understand their real challenges, okay? So that means that even as we think about what we're trying to solve, it must be a problem that is really exist. You know, at times we as human beings, of course, we have gone through different education systems, and we like being seen as if we are professors, we are the ones who are coming up with ideas. So at times you can define a problem that really does not affect the people. Yes, it's a problem. Yes, intellectually it's a problem, but currently people don't see it as a problem. So in that case, you find that even if you build any product based on that, people will not buy that product. Okay? Yeah, but the most important thing is that you have to go to the grassroots and then be able to understand exactly what are the problems. Then the other thing is that now when you're designing your product, it should be market fit. So that means that it should be a product that once you create it, you should not struggle trying to sell it. It should be something that should be able to grow organically. You just have put it in the market and people start using it so that you cut down the cost of production and take it to the market so that you pass the same benefit to the clients. You can imagine if you're using a lot of resources to market a product, then there's no way the cost of that product will be low. The cost will be passed to the client. So it's the other way around. So it's because you want to be competitive, then you must ensure that the product is a product market fit so that at the time when you're putting these products into the ground, then it starts selling. Then eventually, because you also want to come up with a business, you must come up with a business model fit. So we shall be looking at that in the next week, how you can be able to come up with a business model fit for your solution. Just trying to organize yourself, coming up with a team that really fits the task that you really want to work on. So basically, that's the idea behind how you can be able to get into the business world. So with this approach, therefore, it's important that you really come up with a clear strategy on how you really want to introduce your product. So for instance, you can start with a small number of clients, maybe 12 customers, and then you can work with these 12 clients to identify a problem that's really pressing them. Then based on these 12, you can be able to identify a specific idea, okay? You can brainstorm to come up with maybe 1, 2, 3 ideas, and then come up with a specific idea about what they say it can be able to solve their problems, and then they are ready to do it, buy it. Then you can work with them, okay? Now to develop the solution as you take it to the market, and then use them also as a sample group to do it, to test your product. So you can then translate them into what you call early adapters, ready to start helping you to scale your solution. So because I remember like what Karen was sharing us about the beauty products. Of course, we have got people who have used it, then they have got a testimony. So you find that they actually help in scaling the solution or passing the message out to the people. So people can be able to know that, hey, this thing is working. And of course, that makes it easy for you to also to do what? To convince other people, okay, to buy your product because they'll see that this thing is working. So and so has said it's working. So it must be real, it must be good. So they are convinced that they should buy. So then they start paying for it. And of course, the beauty about this is that since you have worked with the same few customers that you work with, you'll also be able to understand how much they're able to do it to pay for it. And then you can also maybe try to relate that one with how much you have spent on the same product before you take it to the market. So you find that when we talk about market fit again, that means that even the costing or the pricing of the product will actually be fit for the clients that you're trying to do at target. Okay. Otherwise, you know very well that as an entrepreneur, you can come up with a product and then you can have a very high appetite. And then you think, hi, this thing I'm going to make money out of it. And then come up with a very, very high price that may not really reflect to the product. So that's how you need to think through it. So you can actually look at it that way. So you find that as you move, as you walk through with these customers, then you can be able to, of course, to identify, see the demand for the product. You can be able to see, to identify how many people are ready to buy it, because how many are maybe could have issues. I find that in this case, you're only using prototypes and not using the real product. So you can be able to gain the insights and then, of course, be able to drop now the product. So in that case, we actually still are on the course of trying to drop what a product market fit product so that we ensure that it's viable, it's desirable, and able to take to the market. So one core component of the lean startup methodology is that it enables us to put a measure, learn, and feedback loop. So you create something or a markup, you test, you validate, and then you feed it back. So it's more of a spiral approach. So as you grow, you continue growing, as you continue engaging the clients, as you keep on improving the product. So it's more of a spiral approach. And it actually helps you to grow with your target. So I just want to also for us to come up to, okay, I hope you have your piece of paper with you on your desk. So wherever you are, so I want you to think about your business, okay? Because we want to do this in 5 minutes. So I want you to identify your target markets. Pick one to three. So you can write down target markets, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So then for each target market, you can identify a persona for each. A persona, you can call it Mary, John, Peter. And you can also just maybe like a tree, you can write there some of their profile. Maybe it's a male, age, working class. Try to just describe their demographics, their age, their economic status, the psychosocial status, and all that. So you can describe that. Okay. Then you can identify some of the key pain points. What are their challenges? Yeah, so I hope we are moving as we're talking. And the good thing about something is that you just have a pen in the hand and then you draw. Don't need to write anything, just draw a diagram to show that. And then you can put some arrows just to show some of their pain points. What are their challenges? Okay, that they're experiencing. What do they want? What are their challenges? And then maybe down there you can say, you can also draw some other lines to show what you can be able to offer. How you can be able to support them as an entrepreneur. So what we are going to do is that we are going to use this approach to develop a product. Okay, to develop a product. By simply trying to evaluate the program. The candidate ideas through a lean canvas, and then be able to see how you can be able to take it to the market. Yeah, so let's just confirm that we have identified our target markets. Yeah, so who's ready to share with us the target market? Okay. Yes. Juliet, can you share with us your target market? Although you've shared with us a number of times, we don't mind you sharing with us again. If you can hear me, Juliet. Okay, but
Okay,
yes.
like I've put like the company name is Sasa, and the target market are institutions, organizations, and community.
Mm.
And then the persona, like in the institutions, I have students, I have parents, I have teachers. In the organization, I have the board, I have the HODs, and then I have the workers. In the community, I have the children, the teenagers, and the parents.
Okay.
And when it comes to the genders, most of them are mixed genders and mixed age. For instance, when I come to the community, I have the children for child therapy, I have the teenagers maybe for emotional intelligence, and I have the parents for parenting. And then, for instance, their pains, like learning how to cope, working on their traumas, and for the teenagers, getting their careers right, and their parents learning how to parent. So those are the sub business I mean, what do you call it? The topics or the business area element. Yeah. I
Thank
don't
you.
know. I
Thank you.
think I hope I've got it
It's
right.
good. Yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's right. Of course, you are almost narrowing down. So you're supposed to just give them the names now. Anything that you didn't give them your name. So
As
like
in?
you could say, just give them a real name now, a real person. Like you could say, John is a male teacher. Okay. Instead
Okay.
of just saying teachers, now
Mm-hmm.
you give now the target market a real name, now a persona. Say John is a
Okay.
lecturer at this college.
Okay.
Talk about Mary is a daughter of James and John in this family. So you try to humanize, okay?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the description and the concept here. So thank you. So of course, this when you try to do that, of course, it helps you to first of all to try to narrow down your okay problem area.
Mm-hmm.
So you find that the first stage of lean startup methodology is that first of all you need to identify your targets. So in that case, you do that through what you call customer discovery approach. Yeah, Juliet, you have seen your message. Juliet says she is not able to talk, but she has actually said that her main targets are university students. Yeah, so of course, thank you, Juliet, for that. Yeah, so you find that the first thing that you must identify or try to discover who your customers are, because then that's by simply defining your target market, coming up with a persona. Okay, is that right? And then using this persona, you can be able to identify their pain points. Okay, what are their challenges? Like a student called or teacher John. What are the challenges for teacher John? Then you can put down all the challenges for teacher John. Then once you put down the challenges, then you can now start thinking about a solution to the some of the opportunity areas that you have actually identified. So in that case, it helps you to come up with what you call a solution fit. Okay, a solution fit or a problem fit, solution problem fit for the product you're trying to develop. So from this problem solution fit, then you can be able to develop what you call a minimum viable product, and then try to think about how you're going to test it. So you can test it with the customers, okay? When you take it to the market. So when you take it to the market or the clients, then the clients can be able to validate and say whether this product is market fit or not. Then in the process of also taking this product to the clients, you'll be able to think about how are you going to trade, okay? How you're going to trade, what the kind of business model that you're going to use, make value, okay, from this business venture that you're starting. So how are you going to make money? How are you going to, for instance, develop the product? How are you going to sell it? Are you going to create awareness? Because how much are you going to charge them? Think about everything that you're going to know about the product, and then of course how the sources and marketing roadmap. So if you can, that's basically how you can keep on doing that. So in that iterative motion, iterative approach, then you can be able to start thinking, because these things might not really be obvious to you when you're starting your business, but when you start engaging, then it becomes a way of trying to develop a business. And of course, once you've done that, and you have a large customer base, then you can now go full throttle. Start now a company, and then come up with a big company that you can now start making money out of it. So basically, that's what we mean by the lean approach. So you find that in this approach, everything is centered around customers. So you have to first of all discover your customers. You can use your customers to validate your product and solution, and then you can use the same customers to help you build your company and business. You can use the same customers to do what? Yeah, to develop a model as well as to build a company. So you make sure that you engage them, okay, at all this time of your business development life cycle. So it's a more of a continuous approach, okay? The design thinking approach, the human-centered approach. So these are just some of the tactics that you can actually use to do that. Of course, you can use them to test a problem hypothesis, to test a product hypothesis to show whether it's right or it's working. You can use them to know how they would want the products to be charged. Of course, the best way that they prefer, because we're living in a very dynamic world. You want to come up with coffee, like for example, for Juliet. You find that this can really help us to know exactly how this can be able to package the product so that they can be able to, the clients can be able to receive it in a more convenient way, and also be able to reach out to other people. We can also use the same customers as evangelists, okay? The people that you're using to spread the word about your product. Okay? Yeah, the word of mouth. So you find that the word of mouth really works even still today. And people, they really value the networks. So you find that using the networks, you can be able to start creating awareness about your product, and of course, market your product, as well as try to grow your business through using the network within, without really not using much resources. So all these are some of the strategies that you can simply employ to start up your business. So at this level, we find that you with the lean startup methodology, it helps you to start thinking about how you're going to do your business. In that case, you start with the product versus the market, okay, of the product. You get that? So we're not talking about the factory, the input. No, we're thinking just about a product and the market. Okay. So you think about the three problems: how much it will cost you to develop a product, key metrics activities that you need to measure about the product, talk about the top features of the product. And then on the other hand, we talk about the market. We look at the market segments, how the best channels that you can use to reach out to the markets. Of course, the revenue model, how much they are willing to pay, how you're going to make sure that they pay for the value that you're creating for them, the revenue that you're going to generate, the cross margin, and how your business is going to grow. So you find that you start thinking small, okay, as you put your business. So today we're mainly going to focus on how to come up with a viable minimum product, of course, so that you can be able to develop this model here and then use it to test our product. Do you have any question up to there?
Yes.
Yes.
My network dropped a little bit,
Okay.
But while we were at, while Penina was presenting on our personas, you said that we should give them names.
Yes.
Of like real people,
Yes, real people.
I was thinking like, for example, if you are targeting institutions,
Mm-hmm.
Do you really to have you can nickname this institution giving a person's name, or how do we go about it?
Yeah. Yeah, we don't,
Okay, let me bring it down a little bit to a specific
yes.
experience.
Okay.
Like I have a product on incineration of menstrual pads.
Okay.
And the target people who can buy it are probably girls' schools, so that they can do the incineration.
Mm-hmm.
We have like hotels and restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of them having a sanitary bin, they can buy an incinerator.
Okay.
So when I'm doing the person identifying these people, I'll not look at the person who will come to the restaurant or the girls who are coming to school, but I'll look
Mm-hmm.
at the institution itself. So in such a
Okay.
case, do I have
Yeah.
to name the institution, give them maybe a girl's name or a boy's name or something?
Now, I think in such a case, now that the service targets an institution and it's an institution that's paying for it, then you all need to identify to give it a name to identify the institution. Institution, you can just use the institution name then, because you really have to make it, because that's what you are giving the service to. So the client is an institution, so you just need to use its identity as a persona.
Wow, thank you,
Okay.
Bernice. I really remained confused, so you realized.
Yeah.
Actually, I
Yeah.
really, it was because you feel like I do very little one-on-one, but I do
Mhm.
more of group therapy or more of.
Mhm.
So when it comes to that John name Peter was really, I was not really getting it, but I was like, okay, let me just be silent. I'm glad you brought it out, Bernice. Now it's making sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, you see now it's just a representation of the target market. So if it's not okay, we are trying to humanize. That's why you're talking about people, because those are main consumers of our products. But if in such a case whereby you are dealing with institutions, where institutions are the ones which are consuming your products, then we apply the same to the institutions, but we need to give them identity. They must have an identity, like St. Mark's Primary School. Yeah, so that
Okay.
we be able to define them and to know exactly what are the characteristics here. But if we just leave it school, we find the schools are broad, so we don't shoot. We cannot. You find that it becomes very hard for even to scope down your issues that you're trying to articulate. But when you talk about St. John's Primary Schools in Wazingishu County, so you see, in that case, you are trying to narrow down to the characteristics of the school. Maybe the population of the school is a mixed primary school, has got this number of boys and this number of toilets. And you see, in that case, you're able to specify some of the environment, the operating environment, and then you can be able to actually articulate the challenges that they are actually experiencing at that particular level.
Okay, and then a second question, which might not be related to today's work.
Mhm.
I was thinking around what is innovation. And for example, if there is an idea which has been done somewhere else, and then you want to adopt it within your institution, can that one be called an innovation?
Yes, okay, innovation can be classified in three ways. It can be in terms of service delivery, it can be in terms of the product itself, okay? Yeah, the way the product is packaged or the way the product is actually commercialized, okay? So you can innovate around in different ways as an entrepreneur. But the idea, if of course, there is nobody who can say that he owns any idea, though we've been made
Okay.
to think like that. But ideally, you find that as much as we are thinking here, we also have people who are also thinking about the same things elsewhere. So we cannot say that we are the owners of the ideas and thoughts, but we just try to guard ourselves so that we can be able to compensate ourselves for the effort that we've actually put into coming up with an idea within the scope where we are. But having said that, it's up to you to think, to look at an idea and then see if there's anything that you can actually add on it. Okay? Yeah. So you can improve on what's already existing. That's also a form. That's also a form of innovation. Or you can even maybe flip it so that if you do it the other way around, and then you find that it's working, it still becomes an innovation.
Okay.
Yeah, but ideally for us as entrepreneurs, that should not be our major worries. Our major worry should be our customers, whether we have something that really addresses their challenges or not. Because we want to make money from our creativity. So this is just to apply to the challenge is to find the problem that they have, and then we try to fix that problem. We come up with a solution that will be able to fix that problem, and then we get compensated by getting some money from it. So that's why we become innovations, because just coming up with an idea, you can have you're just an inventor, but it does not translate into an innovation until when it becomes commercialized or put into a way of creating some value into the ecosystem. So we can proceed. So we are going to develop a minimum viable product, and then see how we can use it to test or to get a product. So we're just going to share with you how you can be able to come up with a minimum viable product. Of course, first of all, try to understand what it is, and then see how you can be able to do it. Of course, this one again, I'm going to leave it upon you, so that you can also work individually, because you are actually different institutions, you've got different products, but it's good as we go through this process, you also try to relate with your work, okay? Try to relate on what you're doing and see how best it can simply apply to your business setup. So when you talk about a minimum viable product, we are simply trying to say that you want to develop a product, okay, that has got core features and everything that it must have, okay, that you are trying to present to the client, okay, but you are only making it using very minimal resources, okay, so that they can be able to get whatever that they need from it. Minimal resources. It has to be viable, something that you can be able to build on it, that they can be able to interact with it or test it, and then you can build on it. So that's what we mean by a minimal viable product. Okay, it's not a complete product, but it's something that a client can be able to see that this inakaa kama kiatu, okay, inakaa kama switi, inakaa kama sahani, yani something that they can be able to associate it with it, or be able to see the concept that you had being brought into life, being brought into the reality, but it's not complete. And it's important that also for the clients so to understand that it's not complete, but you want to bring it, produce it, and then use it for learning purposes. So I mean, our product is usually a first version of a product with only the core and most useful features meant for the early adopters. So if, for example, we're talking about a soap, we're talking about a soap, you find that the core features of a soap is that lazima iwe na marashi, and then should be able to produce foam, okay? So that's something that wanaona ukiosha hivi inafanya, inatoa, is able to clean the dirt. Kama ni scones, so it must have some specific functions of a product that you really want to get, okay? Yeah, kama ni waste management, you can think about something or a tool that is able to do some bit of work that you can actually use it for demonstration. That okay, naona hapa nimeweka maji ikiwa chafu, hapa maji imetoka ikiwa safi. So maybe it's a tool that's trying to purify water. Okay, to be something like that. So you have to come up with something that's minimal without really going into the details of the product itself. So when we talk about MFP, you find that it's more of a relative term, but usually it's something that's small that can quickly be developed and has got a potential version of a bigger product. If it's software, it could be a software or a product idea. So it could be something like that. So in most cases, this approach is usually used in software. Software, like in programming, you find that it's very hard to come up with a real product because most of it's still in soft copy. So you can just come up with something like a program that can really be able to work. So we are talking about something like this. Like for example, you want to come up with a donut. So before you decorate that donut and add other value addition to it, you can come up with a minimum viable product with a donut, different types of donuts, and to show how they taste. And then maybe people can test and then see, oh, hii ina taste mzuri, hii ni kali, hii iko na chumvi mingi, okay? So that you're able to optimize the taste of the donuts before you start now decorating or packaging it so that you take it to the client. So when it comes to technology, you can come up with something like a video. If, for instance, you don't, you can use a video, explain a video as a minimum viable product of something that you want to create. Maybe you're saying you want to come up with something to purify some water, and you don't have the resources to build it. So you can just come up with a video. And then you can show this video to people and maybe through YouTube's and use it to allow people to engage with the video, to give you the feedback, to see how your product's going to do. Or it can be a form of a piecemeal, a minimum viable product. So you just create a product, but you don't really give it all the features. You just have something like a shell to show exactly what you want to do. I liked Geoffrey last time when they came to Eldohub, they came up with shoes. Oh, those were real shoes, of course, and they were showing how you can be able to develop the products. They came up with bags and all that for the leather. So you can have a minimum viable product based on that. You can come up with a real product or something that is just minimal. For technology, it's very easy. You can always use uh, web pages, okay, to do that. Then you can also come up with simulations to do the same thing, to guide people on how you want your product to work. So you just think about a way of passing the information to the potential customers so that they can be able to give you the feedback. So the main objective for MFP is to do an experiment whereby you can be able to learn the canvas assumptions into valid learning things. So from the canvas that you would have actually developed, how you want to engage the clients, the target market and all that, you can use this minimum viable product to test it, see whether it's really working or not. So it really helps you to therefore to save a lot of money, time and money, which are scarce. And of course, early extraction, you can be able to understand some of their pain points and all that. And in the process, of course, be able to know the gap that exists. And then you come up now, when you're not developing the actual product, you can be able to close the gap, okay? By either coming up with a new product or improving on the whatever that you have so that you can make it become market fit. So the main objective of the minimum viable product is to help you to make exactly what the user needs. So you in your mind, maybe you are thinking of coming up with a rocket, something that can make a piston to move to fly from maybe Capsoya to the CBD of Eldoret by a click of a button. Then you realize that that's not possible with the current scenario. Then you try to think about another solution that can work. And eventually you discover that this person only requires a bicycle. That's the only thing that they can be able to do they can be able to afford. So you find that it really helps you to evolve in the process of trying uh, to understand what the client needs. So it's just important that you can use this process as a way of gaining insights and understanding what the clients want. So So the issue, the only challenge here is that you need to know how to address or to gain insights from your clients. For example, you need to know how to put your questions forward to the clients. For example, like a question like this one here. Do you agree that these muffins are just totally delicious? So the comment about this question is that this question is not appropriate. Who can help us to try to explain for us why you think when you're trying to explore or to get the customer's feedback, a question like this one may not really be appropriate. Let's say you have actually decided to come up with a minimum viable product, and then you really want to see what the feedback from your clients. Maybe you're coming up with margins, and then you ask this question. What kind of an answer will you get? Let's start by maybe from that as a starting point.
You see, when you come with open-ended questions, it is easier for somebody to elaborate. But when it's closed, somebody will tell you yes or no. And if somebody says no, it's the end of you. But when it's put in such a way that it's giving somebody a chance to express himself or herself, you'll be able to have a communication.
Sure. Great. So I think that's well explained. Thank you for that, Karina, because we find that here we are talking about an interaction between you and the end user, who's the client. So you find that we should actually allow the end user to be the one driving the whole process. So that means that even as we try to get information from these end users, let's not be closed. We should be more of open-ended, okay, and not be closed. So in that case, such a question, of course, may not really help us to know their insights. So we find that in the process of trying to learn the insights, one of the areas that we need to do is that we need to sort of think about our approach of inquiring their insights. That is, for instance, how we communicate with them and the kind of feedback that we want to get from them. So it should always be more open-ended and not closed, so that you can be able to get their insights and their feelings. So so in this case, for example, a good question would be like, tell me about your experience with the product. Walk with me through how you feel when you eat this product. Tell me, how is it? So we try to put everything to their side so that they can be able to explain to us. Okay, and that case you can be able to understand some of their pain points that they're experiencing. What pain points do you experience when, for example, you don't have, or when you're feeling hungry? Okay, so that could be a question that you can simply put for them, and then you find that they can be able to explain to you what they really want, what they think needs to be solved. Okay, and of course try to address their issues. So one area that we also need to build our own competence when it comes to doing startup is that we need to know how we position ourselves so that we are not the ones driving the products, but we allow the clients to drive what they want, so that we capture what they want as the key moment of the key thing when it comes to interaction. So one area is we should need to develop also our listening or ability to be able to capture what their needs are. Of course, as much as we really want to make sure that we market our products, we should step one step behind and start listening, more listening than speaking. Okay, and allow ourselves to become variable. Remember, I said about us allowing ourselves to become variable, so that we're able to be criticized, we're able to be told what's not right, and then from there we can be able to correct. Okay, instead of us standing to defend our case, because if you present really what you really want to happen, then you'll find yourself defending yourself, defending your product, defending your design, with the hope that you think that you're going to convince them to buy. Of course, you can try as much as you can to try to convince, but what will happen is that they'll still have questions in their mind. And when they go with their questions in their mind, that means that they will not have they will not have they will not buy into what you are trying to tell them, or buy into the value that you're trying to explain to them. And in that case, they'll leave that place doubting. And in that case, you find that such customer, you're likely to lose that customer, because once they go with their own opinion, then it becomes very difficult again to convince them to get back into your fold. So these are just some of the tactics that you need to apply when you are trying to do you're trying to drop the minimum viable product. So we'll want you to think about your products that you already have. Okay. Try to think about how you are going to create a minimum viable product, whether you're going to use a video, you're going to maybe if it's, for example, juice, maybe you're going to package it in a bottle, okay? And then come up with the ways of sharing the juice so that people can be able to taste it. So just trying to think about it. You can draft in a piece of paper, just you're free to write the way you want. I'll be sharing with you a template that you are going to you're going to use, so that in the next session you'll be able to do the work and then be able to present it. So we shall also allow you to do it freely the way you want to do it. But there are things that you're going to do work on it. So think about how it will look like, think about how you're going to create an interview, and then try to visualize how you're going to involve these clients through the product development life cycle. That is from the problem to solution, then product to the market, problem, solution fit. Then you've got product, market fit, solution, how you are going to learn from it, and then how you are going to establish your business. So it's more of an iterative process. Okay. So just think, you can draft on a piece of paper and then see how you're going to really start up or you're going to really reorganize the organization. So remember, here we are still talking about design thinking. So we are still on piece of paper. We're really not going into practicals, but we're just trying to shape up our minds so that we can try to speed up the process of trying to commercialize our products. Especially for those who have not started, I think we are very lucky, because this really makes your work easier. For some of us who have learned through the hard way, because we are like, I wish I'd known this, of course, but it's important that we also try to do the same so that we ensure that our businesses are a fit for the current digital economy, because it's very, very dynamic. Yeah, so any question up to there?
Charles,
So
I have a
yes.
question.
Yes.
I've had an experience that there's something that you brought about, but I told you I'm old school. So maybe the old school has been my undoing. What do I mean? That minimal viable product is my undoing, because I already have the product. I want to take it to the market, but I'm so scared. I'm like, how about if I go test it and then they don't accept it? I'm talking about serious corporates. We're talking of corporates like maybe Nandi Team, Mumia Sugar, Chemelil Sugar. We have so many other clients who've been there before me and who are there. So like you penetrate the market with a half-baked, or when you're not very sure. How do you, and you say like you're doing a presentation like is in mental illness. You cannot, you cannot give something that is substandard and expect to be called back. They'll always say, let's go back to our client. So that is what has made me to be stuck for a while, because I'm really working to the perfection. But I don't know how the perfection might be, to the extent that when the marketing or when the viability comes, I'll be able to pick it, because I'm stuck on, I don't want to give my profile until I confirm that it is up to date. Because if I give it out and it looks like it's a mediocrity, how will I retrieve it back? I don't know whether there are people within the organization who've been set aside to help people who are starting. I don't imagine that they are there. So that has been,
Wow.
so I've kept on looking for the right people. And you see, like, I've used a lot of money to even pay to get the right profiling people. Like, you see, like now, like I told you, the Gen Zs or the guys in the market are the new guys. They look at things from a different dimension. The CEOs are also new guys, are also young guys. So the way we look at things, the way they look at things really put us in a situation where we don't know how to move. Because you want to present it and you see, like they say, we know it. You give them money, they cannot do it. It's taken so long for me to get the website. It's until I came to Eldohub. And also I've done it with Eldohub for a very long time to reach there. So there are so many people in the market, they are telling you, we can do this, we can do this. But when you go to the end product, they're not able to give you. You go to the profiling guys, you pay this one, you pay that one, then you find conflicting. That's what I was asking you, that do we have the real people who are doing it? You see, when you know the person who is doing it, you'll not make the mistakes. But like I take my product, I'll not be able to retrieve it. It's easier to tell somebody a mandazi or an omena test for me. But testing mental health is neither here nor there. It must just be okay.
Yeah, I think
I don't know
I
if you
think this,
understood where I'm coming from.
yeah, I understand what you're getting, right? And I simply see that now this should be the magic for you to start now to start now your product for the corporates, because I think the idea is that you see now you're so much worried about what you've already done and whether it's going to be accepted or not. See, that's the biggest worry that you have. Of course, that's because you have developed it separately as uh, as maybe as yourself or as an organization, and now you want to reach out to the clients. You see, now there's already a gap between you and the clients, so you don't understand exactly what they need. And you have put it correctly. You are saying that most of the corporate heads right now, most of them are Gen Zs. They've got a different way of looking at things. They want things that are working. Of course, they don't like so many stories. They don't want to hear about your maybe your past history and all that. So if that for them, that's not important. For them, maybe they just want something that can do ABCD at this specific time. So you find that having that in mind, you find the best way of approaching to the venture is through the lean startup approach. Okay. So in this case, again, still go back to the same drawing board, whereby you need to, first of all, to try to understand their problem and the solution. So that means that you need to identify a specific client, a client that you feel that you can work with, maybe only one. Okay. And then also be in a position whereby you want to learn, you want to come up with a product with them, you want to co-create the product with them. Okay, not you prescribing them a solution, but the ones that you can find that could be open and friendly to you, you can go and approach them, maybe approach the HR department, and then you can start even volunteering some of these services, and then okay, say you can do a presentation with an open-ended presentation without really proposing a specific solution to them, but telling them how you can be able to help them to come up with or address some of the things that they're experiencing. In that case, maybe you can take some time, try to do some needs assessment to understand exactly what their problems are. Of course, you can see the first triangle there. We are talking about interview. So you are trying to do. So you try to engage these clients, try to interview them, try to see what they need, try to understand their products, and then don't be afraid. Just come up with the one basic solution. Start small with a small solution, a description of a solution, and then you can maybe test that solution by sharing it with them, and then as a minimum viable product. And then using this product, you can now start the iterative process of trying to study them so that to see whether it's meeting their needs or not. So you work with them through so that at the end of maybe like after the end of 6 months, you find that you have actually maybe done a lot of series of engagement with them, iterative engagement with these clients, trying to understand exactly what they need. And then from there, you can be able now to come up with a solid product that you can now use it to get into the other markets. And remember, we say that in this case, when you engage the clients, you can share this slide here, talk about it, this one. You find that you will start with them, the clients to identify what are their demands. Okay, test a problem hypothesis. first contacts, problem presentation, do everything with them. So you just allow yourself to work with them without really not demanding any pay from them, but you just work with them. Okay, only one organization that you feel is friendly. And then the beauty about it is that once they see it working, and they find that it's necessary for them to start using your service, then they'll have a reason as to why they need to pay for it. And of course, because one, they would have actually helped you to validate the whole idea, custom validation. Okay, so of course, through that engagement, you'll be able to understand exactly how they want you to the kind of business model that they want to engage in. Of course, how they want the product to be positioned and all that. So you find that you're able to get all those insights from the same client. And then the beauty about it is that they can now help you now to create now the product, the final product, by using now the word of mouth to spread to the other organization to tell them that, okay, this thing is working. We tried in our organization. We had this number of staff who were having this problem. And then this organization was able to do what? Support it. So you can start now developing some case studies and stories about it. And that can actually help you to grow your product. So it's just an issue of an approach towards the product. So I hope you'll be able to capture that. Maybe you can run with it as a way of really trying to address the challenges that you've been having.
Thank you for the encouragement.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anybody else the question? Any question? Yes. So I'm going to share with you a template so that you can be able to develop a minimum viable product that you can actually use to penetrate into the market. So what we can say about this lean setup approach is that it's solid proof. It's a simple, tried and tested process from the previous. So it has actually been tested and is actually been found to be producing results. So it's all about speed. It tries to ensure that we demystify the traditional business concept. Traditionally we know, for instance, if you wanted to start a business, that of courses that you're supposed to go and attend, you need to do so many concepts. But you find that ideally, okay, it's good for us to venture business into all those technical concepts, but you can always just start small, okay? Put your ideas together and your thoughts together, and then just navigate your way and get into the business. And this explains to why, for instance, if you look at the entrepreneur world, you find that most of these intellectuals, they don't make good entrepreneurs because for them, they follow the set down procedures and all that, okay? As a way of starting business. And that usually hampers the way they do business because even before they start any process, they think about how much capital they need to have. They need to get money for maybe researchers. They need to create this department and all this other department. So in the process, find that even before they start their own venture, they've already failed. Okay, but you find that if you take this lean startup approach, you find that actually it's like it encourages you. Okay, because it it empowers you so that as a starter or a vision bearer, you can start working on your ideas, working on your business strategies, using the available resources to ensure that at least at the end of the day, uh, you have something that you can be able to use uh, uh, and present to the investors. And then you can be able to pitch before the investors, and then you can be able to get the required resource support that you require. So the beauty about this is that it can also help you to develop all the required readiness that you need for commercialization of the product. So we talk about technology readiness. That means acquiring the sufficient technology that you need to have in place so that you can be able to produce your product. It can also help you to assess your commercial readiness, whether the product is viable or not, whether people are really want to pay for the product or not, whether the product is market fit. So all those issues can actually be addressed by lean startup approach. Then you can also test your market readiness, whether you are ready to go to the market or not. So look at the competition, look at the timings, look at the positioning of your product. Of course, that can also give you some insights to decide whether it's the right time for you to launch your product or not. Just as Tina has shared with us, she has still trying to think whether it's the right time to do that or not. So I find that it also depends on the timing. Like, for instance, we're talking about organizations. You need to have some insights about what normally works at workplace. Of course, we have got in every organization in this world normally works around the year. So we have got in January when people normally start planning for new year's events and activities. And then it goes somewhere to July when people are really packed with so many issues. And of course, maybe that could be the time when people normally have a lot of problems, maybe financial problems and all that. Maybe that could be the time that you might think that it's the best time to introduce your product to the market so that the corporates can be able to see we need this product. But you find that if you take the product maybe to the corporates during, for example, December, when everybody else want to go for holiday, you find that they might not really be able to look at your product, of course, because at that time most of them are just thinking about vacation and all that. But when it comes to May, June, that's when they're really at peak. They want to really ensure that the staff are very competitive, they're active, and they are really productive. Then, and they're having some issues and challenges. Then that's the right time for you to present their product to the market. So those are just some of the things that you need to look at. Then it can also help you to look at management readiness, okay, of your organization itself, or when you're still as a startup, you can see whether you have got the right team to back up the product, whether you have got the right skills to support the product development, whether you have the requisite maybe requirements for registration, certifications, and all that. So you find that this approach can also help you to realize all those things that you need for your business, and then so that you can be able to start off. Yeah, so I think that's the much we've had today. So I think I'll stop there. So if there's anybody who has got a question, we have got another 20 minutes, maybe can be able to ask the question. Otherwise, I'm going to share with you a template which you can start working on for how you think on your specific projects or products. Yeah. Any question? Yeah, so there's a thought there. 5 ways to attract early adopters. So the most important thing that you need to think about is, what is your idea? Why do you think it's important to bring to the world? Who on your team is committed to spending time working on this? How much time do you and your current team think you can spend per week on this specific project? So these are some of the things that you can be thinking about your project. So I'll stop there and open the forum for any question or any discussion that you might be having. So I think yesterday we agreed that we'll continue with this time until further notice. I think the majority had the day, so we agreed that we maintain the status quo, 9 to 11. So I've seen that today the number has dropped a bit. I don't know whether it's because maybe the information was not conveyed in time, or maybe today they are not up. They did not have, maybe they were busy. Sawa. So any question, please?
Yeah, I still want to get clarity on these training materials.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, technology is very fast, and sometimes you cannot really capture everything.
Okay.
And you may want to do some reference. Do we have a place where we can get back and maybe probably download or just refer back the same materials that you are using for training?
Yeah, there's I think I think yesterday I said that we're working on a platform, which I think there's somebody who's working on it. So once it's ready, then we'll be able to share with you. Shall just onboard you to the platform. So the platform will have all the content and all the material that you require for your reference. Yeah.
Okay, and then just my personal observation, I think maybe during the onboarding process,
Yeah.
I think personally, I had not got a clarity of how the program works.
Mm-hmm.
And I bet there are other people who might not be really clear of what they expect from the program.
Yeah.
So maybe Eldohub and the team can put more clarity and emphasis so that people get to see. The problem with a human being, they want to see what they will benefit from it. So,
Okay.
so I think we can communicate more about how the program looks like,
Okay.
and then what do they expect at the end of the program.
Sawa. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Thank you for bringing that up, because I think you are giving us now from the perspective of the clients. Yeah, and we have got no choice but to adapt to that requirement. So we'll work on that. Sure, thank you. Yeah, Juliet, you've not said anything. Juliet says that she's somewhere. Dorothy and Betty. Parting shot, last one, maybe tell us something about today, then before we can end the session. Dorothy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes. We have not heard your voice today. Please say something.
Yeah. Sorry, I came in late, but thank you. The session was good. I understood most of the things. Thank you, and I'm looking forward for tomorrow.
Okay, so thank you, Dorothy.
Yeah.
Betty. Hi, Betty. How are you?
Morning.
Morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes.
The topic of today is amazing, and I appreciate it again and again.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah. So one thing that you've learned today that you think you do differently from the way you're doing things?
The financial part, especially where we have to personalize people. Like you have to give. Nina and Faniz was talking about.
Personas, yeah.
Yes, that one I've gotten, and also just the processing of finances.
Okay.
How the processing, yeah.
Okay, sure. So, of course, here we just touched about finances, but there'll be more detailed sessions about how develop financial models and all that for your businesses. But this is just still at ideation level. Yeah. Thank you for the input. Yeah, we
You're
also
welcome.
have Maureen, please. Let everybody say something. Maureen. Hi, Maureen. You are muted, Maureen, if you're speaking. You can unmute yourself. Okay, we have Veronica. Veronica. Hi, Veronica. How are you? Hi, Veronica. Okay, Veronica, it's like we can't get anything. Are you talking, Veronica? Okay. We also have Geoffrey. Hi, Geoffrey.
Hi,
Yes, how are you today?
I'm fine. I really
You're
appreciate
good.
the yes. But
Okay.
I was having a question whereby how can you really convince somebody that this one is a pure product, e.g., like in butter? Because most of the people they normally go for the, let's say, something that it does that, yeah, that's the company,
Logo.
e.g., that log, yes, that log. Me, I
Yeah.
don't have that. So you can you can just try to talk to customer, you tell her or him about your product, but anasema hii ni pure kweli. So hadi unashindwa, I don't know how.
Okay. Okay. Yes. So I think it all it's about now the product and what the client wants. So because if you use the brand butter, of course that one again, butter is your competitor. So you are supposed to outshine butter. So you just need to come up with your own brand and then try to convince the client that look at my shoe, it's purely made up of pure leather. That's what they're looking for. Something like shoes that's durable, shoes that is tough, that can be able to compete the butter shoes. And of course, the other thing that you need to have a unique selling points, because why you think they should buy your shoes. Okay, so try to understand exactly what are the challenges. Of course, one of the factors is surely the cost. If your cost can be more competitive, the butter shoes, that one is a thumb up. It's a first entry point. Then the other point is you can also look at other factors like uh, the designs and all that. So those are how you can be able to actually do that. So those are different approaches that you can use. Yeah. So Geoffrey, I think with this design approach, you find that you don't need to come up with so many products. So you are producing shoes. You can come up with only one. Maybe you want to introduce a new design of shoes. So you just come up with one model and then you try to test it with some few clients, see how they're using. Then you can use them to speak on your behalf, tell others on the word of mouth, telling that these shoes are working. Okay? Or you can work with one institution and then you help them to come up with the shoes or a charitable organization. So you can think of different strategies which you can actually employ to ensure that you able to showcase your product, because to capture that customer base so that they can start working for you. Okay, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to sale, when it comes to product validation, market validation. So that's the idea behind it. Yeah, we also have Rubanda Philemon. Hi, Philemon. How are you? Hello, Philemon. Veronica, yes, yes, Rubanda. Your hand is raised up. Okay, you are just here. Okay, fine. Can you say something? Veronica, okay, so yes, so sawa. Anyway, I hope you're okay wherever you are. Because we'll learn next time, maybe you can have we'll be glad also to hear you maybe giving us a comment or something like that. Otherwise, thank you all for finding time to join today's session. So I'll be sharing with you a template which you can use to develop your minimum viable product, of course, with a business model and everything, so that you can sit everything and put your ideas together, and then try to see how you can be able to transform it now into a business. Because here we are just, what we are doing is that we've just been setting up a foundation that you can actually use for a business. Otherwise, I wish you all the best and have a lovely day. I think I'm also having another meeting, so we are going to stop here. Okay, so let's plan to meet tomorrow. Otherwise, have a nice day all. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Thank you,
Bye.
Charles.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Bye bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye.
Mm-hmm.
Bye
Bye.
bye.